Hey Hofstra fans, welcome inside this week's edition of the W Mason Coaches Report here on GoHofstra.com. Tom Brady joined by Rob Anspach, coach of the Hofstra Wrestling Team. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Coach, a busy week for your team this past week. First off, win over American 22-18 in that match. What did you see from your team?
I thought the guys did a nice job going out there and dictating the pace of the match, especially the way we started off the first three matches. It's 165, 174, and 184, major decisions from all three guys. So it was a great way to start the match, set the tempo for what we had to do. We knew it was going to be a match that we felt was going to be decided by bonus points, and to have those three guys go out there and get those wins in such a big fashion was a nice way to start the dual meet.
Your week didn't get any easier, then had to go down to George Mason for the CAA duels. You wound up getting the sweep there over ODU, George Mason, and BU. How important was it for your team to just come out on the right foot in conference league?
Well, it was a nice job that the guys did. Obviously, it was a short turnaround. We wrestled on Thursday. You have that day, and then you're back on the mat for three dual meets in one day, which is always a little bit tough to do, especially conference dual meets. I thought the guys did a great job. We had a bye first round, so I was a little bit nervous about that, as Old Dominion had kind of a warm-up match, and you don't really know if your guys are going to be ready, but they did an outstanding job being ready for the match. The first four weight classes we won, and that kind of set the tone for the rest of the match, and actually for the rest of the day.
Now, to start to take a look at some of your wrestlers a little bit more closely, Steve Bonanno, Justin Acardino, Ben Clymer all go 4-0, all riding 6-match winning streaks, and maybe it seems like for a guy like Ben Clymer, wrestling really hot right now, and a guy like Justin Acardino, maybe do you think this is the best he's been wrestling since his injury?
Yeah, Justin's finally getting the match time. He's starting to look like the guy we saw 2 years ago before the first knee injury. So he's doing a good job. He's riding hard on top. He's getting back to his leg attacks, which we weren't seeing him be so consistent with earlier in the year. But he's doing a good job of that now. He's getting out there. He's looking to score points right away. And he's hand fighting really well. His matches are close in the beginning, and he's just wearing guys down with his top riding and continuing to wrestle. So he's doing a great job. This is, as far as the season, the most consistent he's been and the best he's looked all season. Ben Clymer just continuing to wrestle well. He's going out there and doing the things we ask him to do, taking shots, riding hard on top, and getting the victories when we need him to. And you know, he was really, that was a huge match for him. For the team standpoint, to go out there and get those bonus points at American, and he did a great job doing that. Yeah, so Steve Bonanno's doing, you know, he's been our most consistent guy all season long. Nothing changed this weekend. He went out there, got a major decision against American. Then he had a couple matches where he completely dominated the matches. The guys weren't really wrestling. They're kind of laying on bottom, trying not to get turned instead of wrestling them. And that's when you know you've really become a high-level wrestler. That guys are no longer worried about beating you. They're worried about giving up bonus points in dual meets for the sake of the team. And that's where the point he's at this season. So it's just great for him to know that all the work he's done has paid off, and these are the results he's getting.
You talk about some of these guys picking up those huge major decision tech falls, things like that. How important has that been to the success of your team, especially in some tight matches as we've seen?
Yeah, I mean, that's what. When you can get bonus points at any weight class, it's huge for you. You know, especially if you can pick up a pin, it's like getting 2 extra wins. So they don't happen often, but we've done a good job in the matches where we needed them to. We've gotten the bonus points throughout. That was the deciding factor against American. If we just win every match, it's 18-18. But since we were able to get 4 major decisions, we got those 4 bonus points and take the victory. Same thing when we wrestled Drexel. It was 5 matches of 5, but we got the bonus points on them. So we've done a good job going out there and getting bonus points. We've also done a very good job of preventing bonus points in matches where it's been close, you know, a 7-point loss or something like that. Our guys have done a nice job not giving up that extra point for the benefit of the team.
You had a lot of guys also go 3-1 this past week. Jamie Franco, Luke Blight, PJ Gillespie, and Paul Snyder, who really had to bounce back after a tough pin against #1 heavyweight in the nation for American in just 48 seconds. Winds up getting a couple pins of his own at the duels.
Yeah, Paul did a nice job. He could easily put his head down and tank the whole weekend, but he did a nice job at rebounded, shook that loss off. Obviously, we wanted a better performance against Flores from American. It's an opportunity to wrestle the best kid in the country, and you want to be able to go out there and give it everything you have and wrestle the 7 minutes so you can see the things you can work on. We didn't really get anything out of that match as far as a coaching standpoint. It was so from that aspect, it was disappointing. I know it was disappointing to Paul, but he did a great job coming back next weekend. Or not the next week, a couple days later. The Old Dominion match really kind of came down to Paul. If they win that match, I guess they needed some bone. No, if they win that match, it goes 15-15. But he went out there and got a pin, 21-12. It's a great match for him. He went out there right from the start. He took the kid down and just went to work, got the pin, and then his next match he did the same thing. Got the takedown, went right to work. So overall, it was a pretty good weekend for him. Jamie did a pretty good job. We needed him to get the win at American. He went out there, did it. His loss came to Fred Santate from Boston, who's the #1 ranked guy in the conference. But he went out there and he wrestled. And he left the match as a 1-point loss. We were in on the kid's leg at the end of the match to win the match. So it leaves you with a pretty good feeling that if we get out there a little bit quicker, we push the pace a little bit more, we're going to win. We're going to change that around at the end of the year. And Luke Veit, he did a nice job in all his matches. Even the match he lost, the kid Mariaker from American, we went out, we got the first takedown. We got to change a couple things with Luke as far as his defense, but he had the kid tired, visibly tired, and we need to take advantage of guys when we have them that tired to score points. The thing I liked about Luke on Saturday, we had wrestled a kid from Old Dominion at the Southern Scuffle. We had lost to him, and for him to go out there, and he really handled them. 9-4, 5-point win, and I think he scored 3 takedowns, just really dominated the match. Let that kid know that, the first time was a fluke. It's not going to happen again.
Next group of guys, Jermaine John and Tyler Banks each go 2-2. Jermaine almost 3-1. Tight loss to Tay Edwards at 7-6, and at 197. Combination of wrestlers there for you go 1-3. So what do you see from that group? And certainly where it looks like Jermaine's improving, maybe some other guys need some work.
Yeah, Jermaine did a nice job this weekend. When you look on paper and you sit there and you have a freshman, especially I'm talking about the American match now, we have a freshman going against a guy. Yeah, we're supposed to win the match when I look at the records and things like that and what I know about Jermaine, but he's a freshman, you're counting on it, it's a big match, and for him to go out there and get a major decision was really big for the team, and it kind of set us off. We felt pretty good from that point on, from that dual meet. And then he goes, his next match is against Tay Edwards, ranked 13th in the country, and some polls 10 and others, one of the top guys in the conference at any weight class. And to go out there and lose a 7-6 match, and really on a 5 seconds of a mental lapse where he gave up a reversal and 2 quick back points, and that was that was his match for him. And he felt confident coming off the match as the coaching staff did. And hey, next time we wrestle that kid, we can beat him. We need to get in a little bit better shape. The kid was extremely tired, but we weren't good enough shape to score when he was that tired. So we talked to him about doing that, staying focused, and getting to our shots quicker, and making the match a little bit harder from the start, and that kid will break. The one match I probably was disappointed in him was the last match against Boston. I think he went back to kind of just standing around and letting that kid kind of stay in the match which is a case where he was the better wrestler, but he didn't win. And that's what we had talked about as the case with Jermaine. Sometimes he allows these guys to stay in matches and he's not getting the victories when he should be. So we need to continue to work. He needs to continue to improve, stay positive, get in a little bit better shape, keep coming in technique, working on his technique, which he does. And he does a great job of that. So I'm happy with his progress to this point, but we need to start winning those matches we're supposed to. Some of the other guys, Tyler Banks, 2-2 on the weekend. I expected more out of him, honestly, from this weekend. I wanted to see a better match against Nicholson. I knew it was going to be a close match, but I felt we didn't do enough to win the match, and we allowed that kid to control the entire match, and the score showed it. I think it was a 6-point win for that kid, and that was just not what I was looking at going into that match. I expected him to compete better, and he knows I expected him to compete better, and I expect the next time he will. But that match, he didn't do a very good job. And so talking about 197 pounds, it was a tough weekend for him. I know Tim got the win against Boston. He did a nice job there, but they need to wrestle harder and just look to score more and have more opportunities, put themselves in more opportunities in the matches, and that's what really came away from this weekend at 197 pounds.
Now you start to take a look ahead, a couple of tough matches coming up. Face a Rutgers team, 24th in the nation. They got a couple of ranked wrestlers. A team that's really started to turn themselves around as a program over the past couple of years.
Yeah, Rutgers has done a great job the last couple of years getting transfers and keeping the best kids in New Jersey, which is a great high school state, at home. And it's going to be a dogfight when we go down there. You look at it on paper, if you do the matchups where they're favored, where we're favored, it should be about 5 matches to 5. If you're going strictly off of paper, obviously that's not what you wrestle. But and it's going to be a tough match, and we need to pick up bonus points where we can. That's been our MO this season. So we need to get our guys, you know, PJ and Banana. Although PJ's got to have Winston, so that one that's a huge swing match. 165 pounds. You got a guy that was around a 12 last year, and you got a returning All-American. So the winner of that match could very well decide the dual meet. But we still want to have our other guys go out there and compete hard. You know, 125 pounds, look for some bonus points. 184 pounds, look for some bonus points. And just you go out there and just wrestle and compete hard every single match. And we can, I don't know, I wouldn't call it an upset. I expect us to go down there and win, and I think we're going to come home with a victory.
And then you welcome in a good Penn team here, a team that has a win over Americans, some tight losses to ranked teams, Cornell, Lehigh, and Maryland as well. Also, Senior Day, it's going to be here at the MEC Sports Complex. So what can you expect from a tough Penn team, and also what kind of emotions from your team on Senior Day?
Well, I think our guys, you know, hopefully it's at home, but, you know, as any time we wrestle, I just want to wrestle to the best of their ability. Whether it's all that other stuff is nice and it's fun for the fans and it's great, you know, we get to not really say goodbye because we have another home match, but, you know, kind of say goodbye to our seniors who have helped us bring this program to where it is today. So it's always a nice day, but, you know, the other guys, they can't be worried about those things or get distracted by all that stuff. You got to go out there and wrestle. We've seen some guys from UPenn up at the Bearcat Open. We watched some of their guys wrestle. We actually wrestled against them in some weight classes. So they got a solid team up and down the lineup. They don't have any real holes. They got some really good guys. A returning All-American at 141 pounds. So I look forward to that match because I think we got a pretty good 141-pounder ourselves who just needs to turn that corner. So that's one of the matches I'm really looking forward to. Yeah, we just need to go out there and expect a fight because they're well coached. Coach Eider does a great job down there, so they're going to be well coached. They're going to be in shape, and we need to be ready to wrestle and in all positions and for 7 minutes. Because if we're not, they're going to beat us. I think if we go out there and do the things we've been doing, we should come away with a nice victory.
And how helpful do you think it is to you guys, knowing that you've seen some of these wrestlers, you've even faced some of them in some tournaments and things like that, as far as preparation goes?
Well, it's nice that you kind of know what they do, but at the end of the day, you have to wrestle in your positions, and you got to stay within what you do. And so it's good and it's bad. You know, sometimes, especially if we lost to him, it could put the edge on them that, hey, he's already has a win over us. Can I beat him? You start putting some down in your head. And we've got to make sure we stay away from that. We're a lot better team now than we were back in November, and we got to remind our guys of those things, especially the guys that have lost to them, and go out there and perform up to our potential.
All right, Coach Rob Anspach, thanks for joining us in Hofstra-W.B. Coach Support here on GoHofstra.com.
Thank you.